Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
This program is sponsored by Strader's Shoe Store and Reidsville Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. On this edition of Rise Up Reidsville, on our media line, Chris Phillips, Assistant City Manager of Administration, Finance Director, and currently Interim City Manager. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Hey, doing good.
Well, it's good to have you on the program always. Let's talk a little bit about some things in the last couple of weeks. I know it's a beautiful day in Reidsville today, but maybe an update on where we were in the ice storm and all of that. That was a mess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. It is beautiful today. Yesterday was a real teaser for spring.
Yeah.
And I broke out a short sleeve shirt today, but it doesn't seem like anything like what we were in a week and a half ago. So, everybody was expecting a large ice storm at the end of last week, and we were very fortunate that we missed that. It's amazing how much difference 33 degrees is over 32 degrees.
That's exactly right, yeah.
But we did get one. Reidsville probably got hit as hard as anywhere on the weekend of February 13th, February 14th.
Yeah, that was the big one, wasn't it? I guess not last week, yeah.
Yeah, for us it was. We ended up a lot of power outage. We actually had 175 or more, actually, probably more than 175 trees down in our streets that had to be cleared.
Wow. That's a lot.
It is. It is. It's a lot of work, and we do appreciate Duke Energy getting in here and getting everybody's power back on. They brought in crews, and they worked in those icy conditions to try to get it on as quick as possible. A big problem they were having was it's been so wet leading up to the ice storm. If they got off the road, they sunk into mud. Just made the job that much harder. But while Duke's doing all of that, our city crews are on the scene. They're right there with them. Mm-hmm. As soon as Duke clears a tree away from the lines, it's our guys that cut it up and get it out of the road. And with 175 trees down Sunday, on Tuesday, I think there were only 15 trees still blocking any roads, and all of those trees were tangled up in lines. So we had to work with Duke as they got each one of those out of the lines. We got them out of the road.
In a couple of days, that was a lot of work, wasn't it, to get all that cleared? My goodness, that was a very good job.
It was. Those guys are. There's somebody, actually 2 employees on call every week, but this time of year, all of our public works employees are really on call. Things can change really quick, mm-hmm. And you hit that 32 degree mark, things can change quickly overnight, and that's what happened. So they were on call. They were out doing what they could to try to limit the effects of the storm. And it's the same thing with snow. Those guys are on call. Everybody loves to see the snow. I've got a 9-year-old at home, and I like for it to snow, a good snow at least once a year, so he can experience going out and playing in it. Everybody likes that, but we're really fortunate in Reidsville that our guys are committed to making the roads clear as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So they're on call, and they're in there, prep work on the front end and pushing it on the back end to make that happen.
And Public Works is there all the time anyway, behind the scenes, making things work, but pressed into service like this. So yeah, we appreciate that Team Reidsville there with Public Works for sure, don't we?
Absolutely. And it's our street guys, of course, are out there helping to clear the streets off and getting rid of some of the bigger trees. But then our sanitation guys are actually the ones that come through with the boom trucks, big trucks with the claw on the side, and they are very experienced at using those to pick up debris on the side of the road. And so they were out there as soon as they could to start cleaning that up, getting the trees that the street crew had left to the side. As soon as the weather permitted, a lot of folks were out cleaning up trees out of their yard and bringing them to the right-of-way. And those sanitation guys are running their routes, and they've been really busy. There's still a lot. Yesterday, I noticed a lot more people got out because it was such a nice day, and they will today too.
Mm-hmm.
Enough messes in their yard and bring it to the side, and our guys are out there getting it. We actually have some standards of what they'll pick up. There's restrictions on size, length, and diameter. So, you know, if you're bringing it to the side of the road, cut it in smaller lengths. Get it down, you know, probably 3 feet is a good length to try. I think we pick it up if it's under 5. The diameter is a little bit different. You know, the bigger trees, we don't necessarily, according to our policy, we wouldn't pick up the bigger trees. A lot of times those bigger trees, you're going to have a contractor come get them down. Mm-hmm. And part of that contract is that they take the tree away. So we try to limit big trees being put on the road. But with this storm, a lot of people did the big trees themselves, went out and cut them up, and we are picking those up, if at all possible, just to clear the road. Really, we did a lot of that the first of last week, thinking that second storm was coming, and we wanted as much of that stuff in case it was as bad or worse. And again, thank goodness it wasn't.
Yeah. Let's talk about we all had the power loss issue there around the county and there in Reidsville, and that affected your water supply. Didn't have enough reserve, I believe, or unable to really process that water like you should.
Well, what happened, and that was the biggest issue from us.
Yeah.
We actually had plenty of water, and we had the ability to make more water.
Okay.
There's a clear well at the plant, and the clear well was full. But what happened was the electrical interruptions hurt us keeping the pump that sends the water to Reidsville going.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it's Murphy's Law. The worst thing that could happen will happen at the worst time.
Yeah.
And that there was some issues in the redundancy with that pump, and they were able to get it fixed. But the problem was we lost pressure.
Okay.
Some areas of town lost water pressure. Some folks actually, turned on the faucet and nothing came out, and that's not good for a water system. It's called back siphonage.
Okay.
So when you lose the pressure in the system and the water goes backwards and pipes are cleared out, it can stir up bacteria that is normally not a problem at all. And then when the water pressure comes back, it pushes that bacteria through, and it can reach our customers. Mm-hmm. So we did issue a boil advisory related to that drop in water pressure. But
that didn't last long. Thankfully, that was good.
No, it didn't. We were in contact with the Department of Environmental Quality at the state during this whole time period. They did not require us to issue that advisory. Our wastewater treatment plant supervisor and public works director and myself agreed to issue the advisory just out of an abundance of caution. We were testing right at the time, and it takes about 24 hours for those tests to run cultures to have results. As soon as those test results came in, 24 hours after they issued the advisory, we lifted it. That was as quick as we could, and all the tests came in clean. Mm-hmm. So there never really was any issue. It was just the potential for the issue.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't make a lot of difference, but what we issued was an advisory. If the state had required us to issue it, it actually would have been called a notice.
Okay.
And the notice was that you have to boil the water to use it. The advisory is you may may want to boil the water. It's the same thing. You have to issue that, and it's very serious that we did that, and it was out of an abundance of caution. But our folks here boil the water, and but thankfully there was never really a serious issue to anyone's health through that event.
I know there's some changes coming up in Public Works, so give us an update on that, Chris.
There are. Our Public Works Director, Chuck Smith, who's been with us about 2 years, 9 months, so going on 3 years, has decided to leave us. He's got another job opportunity. Chuck came to us with a ton of experience. He really had the breadth of experience for all of our Public Works divisions. So our Public Works Director is actually over the street crew, the sanitation crew, our city garage. The engineering department reports to that director in both the water plant and the sewer plant. And also that includes the water lines and the sewer collection system. So a lot of different pieces that go into the full realm of public works for City of Reidsville. And Chuck had experience in just about all of those areas, and came in and no learning curve, hit the ground running. So we appreciate the time he spent with us, and we hate to lose him, but we don't get people for life. They do have other opportunities, and he was able to move on to one.
Yeah, but, people come and go. Yeah,
and that's part of running a city. Reidsville's almost 150 years old, so and probably be here another 150 years.
Yeah,
and folks do come and go. And I have been able to secure an interim director. Speaking of people coming and going, Jerry Rothrock is going to be our interim public works director, and he retired from that position with the City of Reidsville.
Okay.
So he's able to come back. It's been a number of years. In the meantime, since he retired from here, he's done several interim stints as a public works director, or actually a city manager in some smaller cities.
Okay.
Over the last several years. So he stayed active and current, and he was between interim stints, and he's going to be able to fill that job for a time period for us.
Okay. Okay, well, that is good news.
Yeah. He has just like Mr. Smith, he has the overall experience. He's got specific regional experience. So I don't think we'll miss a beat there as well. Your listeners, probably realize if they've heard any of our recent discussions that we are without a city manager right now. I'm the interim manager, but the search for the manager is underway. And when I realized our public works director position was going to be open, I decided pretty quickly that I didn't want to fill that position. I wanted the new manager to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Those upper level management positions, some of them don't come open that often, and so a new manager coming in would want the ability to fill that position and have a say in one of the people that are going to report directly to them over a large part of our operations. So to be able to have Jerry to come in and fill that void until we have a new manager, and then that new manager in turn can turn around and hire that position. We were very fortunate in the timing of it.
Yeah, that's the way to go for sure. Well, we've only got about 30 seconds left if we stay on time here, Chris, to wrap up.
Okay. Well, the only other thing, while we're talking about Public Works, I just want to remind everyone that we do have job openings at Public Works rather often, and they can always check our website and go out and find our current openings, all city openings. But the Public Works jobs, we have several entry level, so you can get those jobs with no prior experience, no specific education requirements. The first thing they'll do is get you a CDL, commercial driver's license, so that you can start working on using the big equipment we have. They'll teach you a lot of things, and there's